Good morning, gang. Happy Friday morning. So somebody explained to me how half of our country is on the wrong side of every issue, literally every one of them, and still gets listened to, talked to, whatever. I mean, we could talk about crime, we could talk about foreign policy, we could talk about the economy, yada, yada, yada. Pick one. I mean, you guys know it. We could do this all day long, talking about the issues, and it's inevitable that the Democrats are on the wrong side of what the people want. Let me ask you this. A few years back, how many of you had your shoulder tickled? Watching this channel, most of us probably know, okay? Because we didn't trust it. And that's a big word. Because trust for the American medical industry is pretty low. Not for the doctors, not for the nurses necessarily, but for the ones that are making the decisions. The CDC, the National Institute of Health, et cetera, Medicare, Medicaid, blah, 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 insurance companies, the ones who are actually making the decisions on what should and should not be done. I mean, I find it absolutely hilarious that the insurance companies are more than willing to have everybody get poked, yet they'll turn down people for necessary surgeries or necessary medicines because it's too expensive. Interesting, right? Yesterday, you had Robert Kennedy getting grilled in Washington, HHS Secretary, Health and Human Services, by Congress. And, of course, the Democrats are on the wrong side of everything. You're destroying the health system. I mean, this was coming from every one of them. It was hilarious seeing some of the clips, reading some of the stories on what these senators were saying, okay? The funniest one, of course, was with Pocahontas. You're destroying this, you're making healthcare, more dangerous for the American public, yada, 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 and she's, just going off, that how he needs to change his plan. And Kennedy turned around and goes, and I'm aware that you've taken $885,000 worth of donations from the pharmaceutical industry. Ooh. Don't say that. No, don't tell anybody the facts that I'm against one thing, but I'm more than happy to take the money from them, right? All this sort of crap. This is the thing, and people keep listening to this. You listen to Bernie Sanders, for example, how many times he's like, we need to be more like Sweden. We need to be more like Denmark. The socialism works there. And as I said yesterday, the populations of those countries are less than the population of New York City. Okay, a little different there. But you want to know something that's real interesting about the Scandinavian countries? There are no mandates for vaccines. None. You don't have to get any vaccine if you don't want to. You don't have to get a COVID vax. You don't have to get a flu shot. You don't have to get the MMR shot. Nothing, unless you want to. Funny how that works, Bernie, that the stuff that you like, the socialist policies, you'll use Scandinavia as your shining city on a hill. But the stuff that disagrees with what you're pushing, oh, well, we need to change that. We can do better. Again, one of these things, socialism's just never been done right. We'll do it better. Got it. Okay. There's no question that we live, well, let's not put it that way. There's no question that the United States was designed to be the freest country in the world, where the people could make their decisions for themselves, what they wanted to do. And over the course of the last 250 years, slowly but surely, that's been taken away from us. All of a sudden, you have to do this. You have to do that. You want to put your kids in school, they have to have this battery of shots. A few years ago, you wanted to go to work, you had to take the jab in the arm. Okay? It didn't work out so well for a lot of people, Not everybody, but we still don't know the long-term side effects to it. Though, again, those of us who didn't participate, I guess, will be the part of the study that goes, and this is what happens if you didn't. Gee, myocarditis? We don't see that in these people. Wonder why. We'll know that longer over time, and by the next generation, we'll see what the effects are. But you go into so many other things as well with all of this. Our choices being taken away. Or subtly, you're being forced into something. I mean, again, as we've talked about many times, how they're trying to collectively put people into cities. Like Mrs. P and I were talking about yesterday. Go take a look at Russia, where the population lives, all right? It's primarily in the big cities. There's not a whole lot of infrastructure build out, medical facilities, you name it, in farmland in the Urals, for example, okay? But boy, if you live in Moscow or St. Petersburg or Ufa or something like that, yeah, you've got the doctors, the hospitals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe not so much if you live out in rural areas. And this is where we're different, okay? Sure, we've had problems with the hospitals in the rural areas shutting down, but they're still there. There's still medical care. I mean, if I want to go to a hospital, there's one in town. It's a half an hour away. I'm a half an hour away by my choice, not by theirs. Okay. It's not like I have to drive 2 hours. But those powers are trying to do that. They're trying to use that as another example of how to congregate all of us together. If we take away the services, people will move. And this is what we need to be cognizant with the lifestyle that we live, because that's what they're going to do. I've talked about this occasionally before. When they shut down all the gas stations, when they shut down all the grocery stores, they shut down the hospitals, how feasible is it for you to live where you are if they mandate what you can do? You're going to mandate electric cars. They're going to mandate the COVID shot or whatever vaccines, et cetera, et cetera. And it becomes harder and harder and harder to live. So this is what you need to look at. Even the director of the NIH says we should not be mandating this stuff. We should be allowing people to make their own choice. Yes, we should. Okay. We should be allowing doctors to practice where they want. We should be allowing hospitals to serve the people they want to serve. It should not be chosen by the CDC, the NIH, Medicare, Medicaid, the insurance companies, et cetera, et cetera. We should have the choice. it shouldn't be, my opinion, this is an in-network doctor, this is an out-of-network doctor. The choice should be simple. I want to go to this doctor. I have this insurance. Therefore, this insurance pays this doctor. Think about it. You have car insurance, right? My car insurance doesn't only pay off if I get hit by a Chevy. Doesn't matter if you hit me with a BMW or if you hit me with a smart car. My insurance will pay for the damage to my car if somebody hits me. It's not like, well, you have to have the Ford rider and the Volvo rider and the Jaguar rider. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, you got hit by a Tesla. We don't cover that. No, it doesn't work that way. I get hit by any car, my car insurance pays off. My health insurance should be the same thing. I want to go see any doctor. I should be able to go see any doctor. It should be my decision and the doctor's decision on what I need or what I don't need. And I know there's always people that will say, well, you have doctors out there that will abuse the system. No question. We see all the Medicare, Medicaid abuse that goes on. We see fraud in the medical profession, ordering tests that aren't needed to pad bills. Okay, I hate to tell you this, but there's fraud in every industry out there. Walmart saying a pound of beef is in a package and you go weigh it and it's only 14 ounces. We've seen that. Pick something. This is why there are checks and balances in our system. Again, if the doctor keeps ordering all these crazy tests, well, gee, if my insurance will pay off any doctor I go see, a second opinion would be good. You go to the second doctor and the doctor goes, oh, your ankle's broken? No, we don't need to do an MRI on your head. Okay, where the first doctor said, yeah, we do. We want to make sure this isn't a mental issue. I'm making something up, obviously. That's how you have, and then all of a sudden, this doctor's going, crap, we can't pad the bills like this anymore. We're going to have to be legitimate, otherwise we're out of business. This is what we need to pay attention to. RFK is right. We need to get rid of all these mandates, all these bureaucrats who are like, what can we come up with today to punish the American people? Because that's exactly what they're trying to do. You had, what was it, last week, over 1,000 people sign a letter that RFK should resign, that Trump should fire him. And his response should be a real, here you go, okay? No, I'm not going anywhere. Because what he's doing is right. Remember this. RFK isn't a Republican. He isn't a conservative. He's a Kennedy, okay? Give you this. Kennedy and conservatism blah, 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 do not belong in the same book, let alone sentence or paragraph. Okay. The only reason the liberals are against him is because he was a Trump appointee. I mean, it doesn't matter. As everybody said, if Trump cured cancer, the liberals would be against it. I mean, anything he does. We want to stop crime. No, you can't do that. We need to give criminals more rights. We want to stop sending money to Ukraine. No, we need to keep doing that. We need to piss away American tax dollars. We want to reduce the cost of gasoline. No, we need to keep the American public paying too much, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Every single thing. It doesn't matter if it's the greatest idea, the most perfect plan in the world. The Democrats are against it. And as we get closer and closer and closer, we're now only a little more than a year out to the 2026 elections, I'm laughing because the Democrats are going to have to run on this. We stand against everything that the Republicans do. Yet most of what they're doing is working. We like that. Doesn't matter. We're, no, orange man bad. Okay. You keep going after the lunatic fringe of the population. We'll continue to stick with doing what's right for most people. We're doing what's right for all people, but most people agree. When you've got 70, 80, 90% of people agreeing with things like reducing crime or deporting illegals, read all the stories about Chicago, J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson. We're not allowing the National Guard in here. Yet the people in Chicago are going, please send them. The crime is ridiculous. It's not safe to go to the grocery store at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That'll tell you. The politicians, all they are trying to do is prove they are obstructionists on the left-hand side. That's it. Pinball out.